is this is a day that is, of course, special to me and to many of us, and I want to think of someone, Philip Scott Lear, better known as Butch. He was not in my platoon, but he was in the platoon closest to mine in Operation Just Cause in Panama, and he did perish during his time there. He was a delightful young man from Westminster, South Carolina, with a tremendous smile and very popular with the ladies, and you're loved and missed, Butch. And so on this Memorial Day, I remember him as I do most years. Now, to the football. So, I was a little disappointed when Chris Grier, a very charismatic and bright young black GM, and Brian Flores, a very charismatic and bright young black head coach, were not able to, make it work together. And of course, the Rubicon River that one of them would not cross was Tua Tagovailoa, and it led to, obviously, the change that they made at head coach. But I'm just going to start with talking a little bit about their cap situation and sort of what is coming in the future. So most of their cap is tied up in just a handful of players. Emmanuel Ogba has a cap number of $11,360,000, and that's not ridiculous. That's not awful. Mike Gesicki has a cap number of $10,931,000. Xavier Howard, at least for the moment, has a cap number of $9,888,281. Jerome Baker comes in at $9,730,000. And then Tua, still a bargain, at $8,256,937. Teddy Bridgewater at $6,500,000. Tyreek Hill at $6,485,000. Obviously, his deal is for much more than that. But this year he only has a little over $1 million in guaranteed salary, though his total value of his deal is, over $52 million. Jalen Waddle comes in at $6,155,908. Byron Jones comes in at $5,871,000. Cedric Wilson, who is I think a bargain as well, comes in at $4.75 million. This is a very affordable team, right? If you look at how this team is constructed, and that was not by accident, that's very much on purpose. And of course, they were very active in free agency, Tyreek Hill being the obvious, well, not free agency, I guess this is a trade in this case, but that Chris Grier decided to be aggressive. He's a general manager of the Dolphins, a title he's held since 2016. He oversees football operations. He's been with the organization for 22 years now in total. He started out in a variety of different roles and responsibilities. He's been in the personnel department of the Patriots prior to that, from 1994 to 1999. And if you look back at his early career, his father is Bobby Grier, right? So he was the associate pro personnel guy in Houston in the very early days of the Texans, 2000 to 2016. His father also worked for the Patriots and served in various roles, including running backs coach, director of pro scouting. He was a vice president of player personnel at one point. Chris went to UMass, played football there for 2 years, and spent 2 years as a student assistant. Then went on to start his career as an intern, as most of these people do, as an intern with the Patriots. Then they made the Super Bowl while he was there. Does start scouting. Then worked later with both Bill Parcells and Pete Carroll in his tenure with New England. Obviously, they lost to the Packers then. But he spent, a tremendous amount of time in working his way up through various parts of the organization. And some things that tell you about how he sees what he does. So in his first draft that he ran, it was 2016, when he first became general manager, Xavier Howard, second round. And obviously that was a player who's been a Pro Bowler, first team, on the Pro Bowl 3 times, led the NFL in interceptions, tied for the lead interceptions in another year. He has more interceptions this season in the league than any other player in the league. So that's a hit. We call that a hit. He also was largely responsible for them getting people like Jakeem Grant, Larry Tunsil, and Mika Fitzpatrick. So he's been in various parts of the organization, I said, for a long time, and he clearly values tough, disciplined, versatile players, but then who doesn't, right? Their first pick was the 3rd round pick, and that was Channing Tindall. And, he's a free-flowing kind of linebacker from Georgia, a guy who's not afraid to strike you. He can cover a little bit, good blitzer. I don't think he's great at any one thing, but at pick 102, you're looking for a guy that can stay on the field. I think he's a three-down player. I don't know if he'll ever be really great at anything. Then they got Erik Ezukanma, a guy who has tremendous ability to just catch the football. He's not a burner, but he's a true possession receiver, and the guy has a certain amount of toughness, decent route runner, but to me, the best thing he does is catch the football, and that's an important part of playing receiver. Then their next pick was picked 224 in the 7th round, Cameron Goode. I think one of the steals of the draft. I will not be surprised if he ends up being one of the better rookie pass rushers, maybe not of the entire class, but of the guys who went day 3. I think he ends up being one of the better rookie pass rushers. And then Schuyler Thompson, sort of a head scratcher. You only have 4 picks, and to expend one of them on Schuyler Thompson, who, I mean, they probably like him a lot, and they just felt like not bidding for him. I don't think he was going to get drafted by anybody else, but they did a pretty good job, I think, on draft free agents. Let's look at the depth chart real quick. Ezukanma is listed right behind Tyreek Hill right now, and then ahead of Preston Williams, at least at the moment. And then they go left, right, and slot. So Tyreek Hill's listed as their left wide receiver, and Ezukanma backing him up. Jalen Waddle's listed as their right wide receiver. So that'd probably, in most teams, that'd be an X and a Y. And then Trent Sherfield is listed as the backup to Waddle, and then Cody Core is listed as the backup to Sherfield. And then in the slot, they have Cedric Williams, Lynn Bowden, and River Craycraft. River Craycraft, who I've gotten a chance to talk to back in his days at Washington State. A big addition was Teron Armstead, and then he's backed up by Austin Jackson and Greg Little. Connor Williams is playing left guard. He's backed up by Robert Jones and also by Blaise Andries. And I think Blaise Andries will push his way further up the depth chart, maybe becoming a guy who backs up at maybe right tackle as well as at guard. Then you have Michael Dieter, who is their center. Then Connor Williams backs him up. And Robert Hunt, right guard, he's backed up by both Solomon Kinley and Cole Van Wert, who once again is comes to them. They also got Liam Eichenberg, right, from Notre Dame last season. And he's joined by Lernell Coleman and Adam Pinckney. I think they still want to upgrade the depth at right tackle. So I wouldn't be surprised if maybe Andrews sees some rips there at some point. They have a really good young tight end in Mike Gesicki. And then the other ones on the roster, Durham Smythe and Adam Shaheen. I think they're probably going to, at some point, once the cuts happen, they'll probably add somebody who gets cut by another team. Tua's backed up by Teddy Bridgewater, and Schuyler Thompson. This is the third quarterback. At running back, they have Chase Edmonds, Sony Michel, and Raheem Mostert. So that's a nice, three-headed monster. Ogba's backed up by, at defensive end, by Adam Butler and Deshaun Hall. Then they've got Raekwon Davis, John Jenkins, and Benito Jones at nose, and Christian Wilkins, Zach Schuyler, and Ben Steely at the other tackle. Van Ginkel starts at left outside linebacker. Brendan Scarlett and Cameron Goode back him up. They've got Landon Roberts and Sam Egbon, Calvin Munson at left inside. Right inside is Jerome Baker. Riley Duke and Channing Tindall is right now listed behind those. And then Jalen Phillips, who I think is a budding star as well. They have at right outside linebacker with Melvin Ingram and Darius Hodge. Watch out for Darius Hodge to make some noise. I really liked his tape at Marshall. And then obviously Xavier Howard, Noah Igbename, Trill Williams, right, from Syracuse, Brandon Jones, Eric Rowe. And Eric Rowe is a guy that I won't be shocked if they decide to move on from him. And Clayton Pagello from Illinois. At strong safety, Javon Holland at free with Sheldrick Redwine and Baron McKinley, his former teammate, behind them. And then at right corner, they've got Byron Jones, Keon Crossan, and Quincy Williams. Nick Needham is at nickel, D'Angelo Ross, and Javaris Davis. And once again, I think they probably want to increase the depth at that position as well. And this is a team that is poised perhaps to do something in the East. I'm going to roll through some of the UDFAs I think I have a chance to. Oh, sorry, I forgot also Kristen Holmes. Sorry, Kristen Holmes. So So, sorry, not Russ. Nope, that's incorrect. So I'm going to roll through some of the guys that I think have a chance to make an impact on this Dolphins roster. And Javon Holland is one of them. Not Javon Holland, but I mean, Veron McKinley III, sorry, is one of them. He's a little smaller. He didn't test well, but he has really, really good football instincts. He's smart and he's tough, and he's going to help you on special teams, and I think you will see the field at some point, probably earlier rather than later. I think he's a really, really good football player, and I think they're going to be thrilled and happy at some point, maybe once again, sooner rather than later, that they brought him in. Other players that I think have a chance to contribute, and like I said, have a chance to even not even just make the team, but add to the team's ability to get things done, and some of whom, like I said, may even be starters someday down the line. So when I look at how this team is constructed, I mean, Cole Banwart is a guy that I think has a chance, partially because they don't have amazing depth. Zaquande Wright is a guy who plays like a speed back, but is really going to end up being more of like a thumper, I think, at the NFL level. Once he learns to be a little more disciplined and stay to the way the play is blocked. But, there's things to like about him. He just wasn't super productive and wasn't super healthy in his collegiate career at South Carolina. Braylon Sanders is another guy, ran 4.48, but plays a little bit faster, a deep threat-ish type, 6'1" and 8 for 194 pounds. Keelan Dice, 6'7" and 1/8, 303 pounds, really athletic. Shorter arms than you might like, but I think he has a shot to make some noise at right tackle. And I heard a few little character whispers, and maybe he's a guy that wasn't the most mature, but if he can tighten that up, he has a real chance to contribute to his team. Jared Dokes is going to be somewhere in the fight at running back. He's a thumper, downhill guy, and they're not so super deep at running back that he doesn't have a chance to to contribute. So I think that there's a shot for him. The way this team is constructed, I mean, it's obvious that they want to put Tua Tagovailoa in best chance to succeed, in a situation where he should succeed. And then if he doesn't, so they'll know what they might need to do with this upcoming draft class, which has a lot of very talented quarterbacks in it. But obviously they'd like for him to succeed, particularly since they parted ways with Brian Flores over Tua. So I'll be moving on to the next team next,